Idea space. The final frontier.
Amy, let's pick up where we left off.
Sounds good. Going back to a single white pearl, with its tier field PRN tag. Every white pearl has its very own swim lane, which typically is colored a cyan blue. For saltwater white pearls, that is. They also have their very own crosswalk. And as such, the white pearl that has both of those, is said to own them, that is in UniML speak. So let's examine what happens when one moves a white pearl to some other location on the string. When that happens, Portals, nevertheless, still remembers the white pearl's old location. But, having a new location, Portals assigns a new tier, PRN field to the white pearl, commensurate its new location.
That makes sense.
Plus it establishes a link to the old tier, PRN via a link line, but in doing so, it shifts the old PRN tag to be stacked under the new tag, but aside from that, all the other PRN fields, in the overall composite PRN, all remain the same, and as such they help maintain that white pearl's continuity from when it was at its previous location.
This is getting pretty complicated.
Well, many of you Yanks seem to really like American football analogies, so let me employ one here, to help simplify and better explain all this. One can think of that old, former PRN, as being much like a football player's jersey being retired from use. As such, no new players will ever get assigned that number that is on that retired jersey. The same applies to a retired PRN location on a string. No new white pearl will ever be assigned that exact location. Also, one can think of that old PRN being much like a forwarding address that one might leave with the post office. Thus, any service outside that UniML model, that might only have an older, now retired PRN, but not the latest one, can, nevertheless, track down the latest PRN via those links to the older ones.
That sounds awfully complicated. So why does UniML, or I guess I should say Portals, take all that trouble to do that?
That's a great question, and the reason is to mitigate the risk of having broken, or what one might call, dead links. But with Portals having this capability, it can greatly reduce the likelihood of such ever occurring, which in turn should greatly increase the robustness of any UniML-based model, which is a key Portals plus UniML property. Well worth having to incur a bit of extra complexity to be able to provide that increased level of model robustness.
Wow, you've convinced me.
Super. But let's end this part 6 here, in that this is getting a bit long, and, once again, links are in the description box, and the background music is another of Ron's improvs called A Temporary Tempo, which once again, I am not quite sure I am exactly getting what that means, but it sounds nice. That is, I mean the title, and the music itself is at least, well, reasonably serviceable, that is as background music, so long as it is not too loud, that is, and thus get in the way of any potential listener's ability to understand what I am trying to say here.
Well, thanks, Amy, for saying that, I think.
You're quite welcome, Ron. And, once again, that is all, folks. That is for this part 6.